Welcome to Evergreen Acres. Tonight, as promised, we are going to be checking on the status of our eggs that are in the incubator. We are at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days that they've been in the incubator now. And so it's time to check again and just to see if the eggs are continuing to develop. And if not, we're going to have to pull those eggs out. And if they are developing, of course, we're going to keep them in. And I'm hoping that we have... I hope we have a few that are going to stick with us here because we'd at least like to have 5 or 6 new chickens. So the other night we did do a quick check on them and we did find that there was 3 that we needed to pull out. So we had started with 12 and we've now pulled out 3. There was nothing happening in them. It was just like looked like a clear egg inside basically. There was no dark spot, there was no veining, there was no air pocket, there was nothing going on in those eggs. So we pulled them out. And we didn't record it because I have seen videos where people have recorded them cracking the eggs open and checking, and it is a little bit horrifying to see that, and I didn't know what to expect. So when we did take the 3 eggs out, we did crack them and we found there was nothing in them. In fact, there was just like a yolk and just looked like almost like a normal egg. I mean, I probably wouldn't have wanted to eat it, but it just looked like a regular egg and it didn't even really smell or anything. So I'm glad we pulled them because if we had let them sit in there, eventually they can go rotten and then they can explode and that would make quite a mess in here. So those 3 are pulled out. We're left with 9 and now we're going to close all the lights and then we're going to come back. It's going to be quite dark. All that you're going to be able to see really is the eggs and just setting them on the phone, the light that's on the phone, and then we'll be able to see what we see. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and I have just pulled out the first egg. Now, I'm not sure if any of you that are watching have done this before, but what I do know, and I have not done this before, but what I do know is that it is okay to let the eggs come out of the incubator for about 15 or 20 minutes. We have to think about it in terms of if these were sitting underneath a mother hen, she would get up and she would go and, get something to eat and do, get something to drink and that kind of thing. And then she would come back and sit on the eggs in the nest. Now, I just wanted to let you know I am using my cell phone, the light from my cell phone, to do this instead of the light that's on the incubator. I had tried to see if this would work better the other night, and it does in fact work much better than the little LED light that comes on the incubator. So anyways, I'm going to show you now what I can see clearly, and I'm not sure if you're able to see. Maybe if I just move the camera back a little bit because there's too much. There is quite a bit of really distinct veining along the egg, and let's just see, we'll just turn it around. The top of the egg, it's very clear to see that there's lots of veining on top. And I'm going to try and see if we can find where the chick is. So I don't know if you're able to see this, but there is development in there. And the chick is moving just ever so slightly, but it is moving around. So there's the developing chick right here. You can see the real dark spot. And then on the bottom here, you can see quite clearly the air sac. There's a real clear demarcation there. So there is definitely movement happening in there. And so that one is definitely going. So let's take a look at the next one. Okay, so until I get my bearings here for a second, I'm gonna start. You can see the air sac at the bottom. It's very clear. And then we will just see if we can turn this around a little bit. And some of the shells are thicker, so it does make it a little harder to see. Okay, and just getting it positioned on the light that's on the phone too. Okay, so there's definite veining and there is definite movement in there as well. And I'm not sure if you're able to see it, but it is just moving ever so slightly. So So the embryo is definitely developing in that one. And there we go. Okay, so again, we've got a good clear air sac there. And let's just turn this around to see. And I can see some really good clear veins along there as well. It may not be as easy for you guys to see. And especially, again, I think this seems like one of those shells that's... This seems like one of those shells. Okay, so actually I can see right here. Now I'm just watching to see if there's any movement. This one's not very easy to see if there's movement, but I can definitely see the veins are clear and the air sac is very clear. Okay, now this one here, I am not too sure. There's some veining there. There is a clear air sac at the bottom, but I am not sure that I am seeing. The other night when we were looking, and in fact I think it was this exact egg, when I was looking the other night, because this one has an X on it, we had thought that it wasn't doing anything, there was no development, it wasn't moving, and then all of a sudden it moved, and we were about to pull it. But I'm not certain that this one here is developing. I'm going to leave it for another day or two because I would feel pretty bad if I pulled it out. But I am not seeing any movement, and I'm not seeing the clear veining like the other ones, so I'm not too sure that that one's... And it's got an X on it, so it'll be easy to remember. Okay, now this one here, just try. So we've got a good clear air sac, looks like, I think, actually. I was saying that, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I think so. This one's harder to see too. I'm not too sure. There's like a big dark spot here that looks like something's developing. I'm not sure if I'm seeing any movement though. And I do see some veining in there, but I'm not too sure on that one. So I think we're gonna keep these two together because those ones I'm not sure of. Okay. Now this one here. Just trying to see. There is veining on this one. Okay, there's a good shot of it. You can sort of see it all in there, and I'm not sure if you're seeing the same thing that I am. The one thing I'm not noticing is whether, let's just see, that light is really, okay, so we've got a good air sac there, but it's a little hard to see if there's any movement. Now, when we did go through the eggs the other night to see which ones needed to be kept and which ones needed to be pulled, there was very clear movement in a lot of them. Like you could actually just see them squirming around. It was quite neat. I'm seeing it a little bit on a couple of them, but I'm not seeing it quite the same as I did the other night. So it just seems a little bit more difficult to see. So I'm just gonna try. Oh, I think I just saw some movement in there. there's a really dark spot over there, and I think I'm seeing some movement. It is really tough to see. It's harder to see than it was the other night, to be honest. So I'm not too sure where we're at, but we've got 2 more we're gonna check quickly. Okay, so this one here has a very clear air sac there. And looks like there's some development, definitely. Phone is notifying me of a message. It's kind of funny. Yeah, and it's really hard to see if there's any veining here. So I'll put that one back. So far there's 2 that I'm thinking are probably not going anywhere. Okay, this one has a really good clear air sac. And let's just hold still on this one for a minute because I can see the veining is quite clear. And if you can see the air sac. I'm not sure if you see that very well on the camera, but, and the veining is quite clear too, to me. So now I'm just kind of wondering if I'm going to be able to see any movement. I think I saw a little bit of movement there. Okay, so out of the 9 eggs that we have got, and I'm going to turn this on. Let's just get one light back on here. Okay, so out of the 9 eggs that we just checked, there's definitely 7 that appear to have the clear air sac, the veining, and even possibly some movement going on. So I'm just gonna get another light on in here because it's really dark. And just like that, we've got light. So, what are 2 of these eggs I'm not too sure about. I think that I may keep them off to the side in one of the little sections, and I'll just put a little X on the second one because one of them already has an X on it. We weren't too sure about it the other night. And the other one we'll put an X on, and we'll leave them in there for now. I'm not quite committed to pulling them out because we thought we were going to do that with one of them, and then all of a sudden he moved the other night. It was very clear that he moved, so I'm glad that we didn't pull him out. So we'll check back again. We're going to be, I haven't got the book in front of me, but we're at day 12 or 13, and pretty quick we're going to be moving into the stage where we fill up the whole thing, the whole bottom section with water, and we'll be turning down the temperature a little bit, and we'll be rolling into the last week. So I'm hoping that again we can get at least 4 or 5 chicks out of this, and that all of them are hens, because that would be very helpful to us. But anyways, I'm glad that you guys came along tonight to see where we're at with the eggs, and we'll keep you posted as we go.